What if I told you that there are people alive today who have never flipped a light switch, never heard the buzz of a phone, and never once been woken up by an alarm clock? No timers, no sockets, no glowing screens. And somehow, against everything we've been taught, they don't just survive without electricity or timekeeping, they thrive. This isn't a story about people in the past, it's about a community alive right now, hidden deep inside the forests of the world, far away from highways and high-rises. There are indigenous tribes who live every moment without a clock, not because they can't, but because they choose to. These tribes have stepped outside the tick-tock of modern civilization and built a rhythm all their own. What happens to a life when it isn't tethered to seconds and schedules? What does it feel like to wake up with the sun, not your smartphone? To eat when you're hungry, not when the lunch bell rings? To live every day with no plugs, no surges, no sound of humming electricity in the walls? This is a life that looks simple from the outside, but it's not naive. It's ancient. It's intentional. It's intimate. And the truth is, this might be the life that we clock-bound modern people were built for. Once you hear how they live, you might start to question everything you think you need, including your sense of time itself. Let's begin with this question. If you don't have a clock, how do you know when it's time to wake up? The short answer, you don't. You let your body decide. Tribes like the Hadza in Tanzania, or the Piraha along the Amazon, sleep when their bodies are tired and wake when they're rested. There's no bedtime, no morning alarms. If someone wants to nap at noon, they go into the shade and sleep. If another person feels alert, they stay awake through nightfall, sit by the fire, tell stories. Sleep is a flexible, flowing thing, shared, cooperative, free. And surprisingly, this kind of broken time sleeping, what we'd call napping or polyphasic sleep, may actually be better for the body. Science backs it. People in these tribes still get around 7 to 8 hours of sleep each day. They just get it differently, naturally. Now think about your own nights. The fluorescent lights, late phone scrolling, the panic when your alarm screams at 6 a.m. Our lives are dictated by artificial rhythms, but for these tribes, the sun is the only clock they need. When it rises, the village wakes gradually. When it sets, the fire becomes everything. Light in these communities isn't just about visibility, it's sacred. The fire is more than warmth. It's a place of gathering, of songs, of ancestral memory. And when there's no light bulb above your head, you learn to listen closer, look deeper, and feel more. But what about daily schedules without a clock? How do they know when to hunt, gather, cook, or rest? The answer is, they don't follow time, they follow need. If the stomach growls, it's time to search for food. If the skies shift, it's time to prepare shelter. If a baby cries, it's time to hold it. Whether that's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., there is no hierarchy of hours, just one moment unfolding into the next. Think of it this way. In our world, everything runs on a deadline, but in their world, life runs on attention, on presence. One member might be weaving a basket while another is storytelling. One leaves to go forage while the others prepare a meal. No one checks their watch. No one is late, because you can't be late if time isn't ruling you. This complete lack of constructed schedules may sound chaotic at first, but in fact it leads to something we rarely feel: flow. Tasks are done when they need to be. People rest when they're tired. There is no rush, no guilt, no pressure. And without electricity, word spreads differently too. There's no digital calendar, no mass texts or notifications. If there's a ceremony, a gathering, a hunt, it spreads through conversation, observation, whispers and movement, not via screens, but skin. So even though there's no formal planning, everyone somehow knows. Social life here is based on rhythms, not reminders. Your body becomes the calendar. The smell of rain tells you what season it is. The angle of the sun shows you how late in the day it is. The sound of birdsong says it's time to return home. You aren't forgetting anything because you are in constant relationship with your surroundings. Now, let's talk about electricity. or rather the absolute absence of it. No fridges, no lights, no stoves, no phones, computers, chargers, apps, playlists, no Netflix, no news, none. Sounds peaceful or terrifying? Maybe both. But for these tribes, the absence of modern tech is not a sacrifice, it's a freedom. Without electricity, they aren't bombarded with distractions or trapped by screens. They don't stare at life, they live inside it. Children climb trees, not scroll TikTok. Parents teach by doing, not by Googling. Communication happens outdoors, face to face, in real time. And the light show at night, it's not your phone screen, it's stars, millions, maybe billions, and you actually have time to look at them, because what else is pulling at your attention? With no outlets, people rely fully on the world around them. For food, they grow, gather, hunt. For warmth, they build fires, share shelters. For connection, they talk, listen, touch, sing. These aren't primitive behaviors, they're human ones. Ones we've almost forgotten in the glow of modern convenience. The food is seasonal, which means no freezers, no DoorDash, no preservatives. What you eat is what the land offers, fresh, pure, unpackaged, often shared by everyone. Eating becomes more than fuel. It becomes ritual, a daily act of gratitude for the earth, and for each other. And without electricity, without even light bulbs, the body starts to reset its own time. Did you know that the blue glow from your screen actually confuses your brain and delays sleep hormones? These tribes don't have that problem. They synchronize with natural light, which means their circadian rhythms aren't broken. Their bodies actually know when to rest. But maybe the most overlooked part of a life without time or electricity is what it does to your mind. Without clocks, stress plummets. There's no reason to rush if nothing is due. There's no FOMO if you're present in the only moment that matters, this one. Anxiety, depression, burnout, things that define our unsustainable modern lives, are almost non-existent in these communities. Not because their lives are easy, but because their lives are balanced. When night falls, there's no binge watching, no working hours bleeding into evening. You rest. You listen to the insects, the rustle of trees, the breathing of loved ones near you. The world quiets, and so do you. It may sound romantic, but this kind of living without wires, without watches, isn't about escaping reality. It's about tuning into it, deeply, honestly, fully. This is how much of humanity lived for thousands of years, and in some places still do. So what would happen if you stepped away from it all? Not forever. Maybe just for a moment. What would you hear if you silenced your phone? What would you feel if you ignored the time? Who would you be if you stopped racing minutes and started listening to the earth again? Because maybe these unplugged people, we think they're behind, but maybe they're way ahead. Maybe we're the ones who lost something, and maybe it's not too late to get it back. So tell me, could you live like this? No electricity, no alarms, no to-do lists or schedules. Would you let your body be your guide? Could you wake up with the sun and fall asleep under stars? Let me know in the comments, what would you miss the most about modern life, and what would you not miss at all? If this glimpse into an unplugged world opened your eyes, please like, subscribe and share this video, because truthfully, human life wasn't meant to be powered by batteries and deadlines. It was meant to move with the wind, the fire, the roots and the river. And somewhere deep inside you still remember how,